Put away your brooms, folks. The 2010 Stanley Cup Final is at 2-1 in favor of the Chicago Blackhawks after the Philadelphia Flyers take a 4-3 overtime victory in Game 3. And I'm a little weird. Sometimes when I'm watching a game, I like to listen on the radio too. And the Chicago radio guys were not happy with Chris Pronger. Every play. Could have called that. Could have called that. You could be charged for that in several states. In fact, they should make things called Pronger Phones. The phone is on, but doesn't receive any calls. In fact, the only thing that Chris Pronger does better than moving forwards from in front of his net and getting away with bloody murder is insulting the media. Have you seen his post-game pressers? They're priceless. Actually, the thing he might be best at is stealing pucks. After the Blackhawks Game 1 and 2 victories in Chicago, Chris Pronger stole both end-of-game pucks. And everyone thinks he's being a big jerk because of that. I disagree. Because there was an oil spill out there and we were looking for anything and everything to clog that pipe with. That's right, hockey is gonna save the day. You're welcome, world. One person no one's talking about with this series anymore is Dustin Byfuglien. And if they are, it's about how much of a non-factor he's been. In fact, most of the Hawks' big guns, very quiet. But they're still up 2-1 in the series, so what does that tell you? Depth! And a lot of this team was built by Tallon, who of course was fired by the Blackhawks and is now the new Florida Panthers GM. And I want to ask you guys, how do you think Tallon did as the Hawks GM? This is the guy who drafted Kane, drafted Taves. The Hawks are in the finals and 2 wins away from winning the Stanley Cup. But then you look at the Hawks cap situation for next year. Oh, shucks. Looks like the Hawks better win this season because next year it looks like there could be trouble. If you go to capgeek.com, it's good for that sort of stuff. Put simply, they're more than $700,000 over the cap for next year. But let me ask you, you're a Hawks fan. Most of you weren't even alive the last time the Hawks won the Cup. Heck, your parents probably weren't either. And you have a real chance to win this year. Do you really care what next season holds? And if the Hawks do win, do they send Tallon a cup ring? Or at very least a thank you card and a Toblerone? Final question I want to leave you guys with. Actually, 2. The Hawks have the 2-1 advantage. Game 4 is in Philadelphia. Do the Flyers tie it up or do the Hawks take a 3-1 lead? And secondly, you can only pick one name from each team. Who wins the Conn Smythe? As to when there were 4 teams left, I want to see if your opinions changed. That's it for now, guys. As an impartial fan of this series, I hope this thing goes to 7, because Game 7 is scheduled for June 11th, which is also the first day of the World Cup, and my graduation ceremony. Party! Don't forget to tune in to the Steve Dangle Show every Thursday starting at 8:10 Eastern Time on fusionradio.ca. If you can't catch it live, you know we always podcast the show. Last week we interviewed Nazem Kadri and Tyler Seguin if you're interested. And in the meantime, let's see if the Cup is going to Philly or Chicago.